Qawwam here suggests that men continually express their care, their loyalty, their commitment. They renew it over and over again over women. That's the idea of Qawwam. Someone who maintains, takes care of, shows loyalty, shows love, is actively involved over and over again. In other words, men don't get to be passive in their relationship with their women. It cannot be a passive relationship. It cannot be, she knows I love her. It can't be that. Oh, she knows I care. It can't be that. It needs to actually be expressed actively and repeatedly and constantly. And that's the first implication that is inside الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. But then Allah gives His rationale. Why should this be the case? On what basis should you be the caretaker? Why? Because first, بِمَا فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Because Allah has given some preference over others. Now, first reading of that might make you think that means because men should maintain, take care of, commit themselves, and renew and continually refresh their commitment to their women because Allah gave preference to men over women. But actually that would have been بِمَا فَضَّلَهُمُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِنَّ. When He says بِمَا فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ, that actually means some over others. In other words, in some matters Allah has given women advantages, and in some matters Allah has given men advantages. I'll give you, for example, a Qur'anic advantage Allah gave women. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَيْكُمْ رَقِيبًا. Beginning of this surah itself, Surah An-Nisa, Allah mentioned taqwa of Himself, and then He mentioned taqwa of the womb. Al-Arham. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَاتَّقُوا الْأَرْحَامَ. بِمَعْنَى وَاتَّقُوا الْأَرْحَامَ. Have taqwa of the wombs of the mother. What a status given to the woman. That Allah put taqwa, which occurs either for Allah or for Judgment Day or for protecting yourself from Allah's torment in the Akhirah. Be that careful of Allah. Be careful of Judgment Day. Be careful of the womb of the mother. Be careful of the relationships of the womb. And everything that comes with it, whether it's marriage, motherhood, your aunt, your grandparents, etc., grandchildren, whatever bonds you to somebody through the womb is a sacred bond now that you should have taqwa of. What an advantage that's been given. Other places in the Qur'an, Allah will say, وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. He has given them some advantages in compensation for some of the disadvantages. That's what Allah will say Himself. And this is in a dignified way. That Allah did this not to humiliate them, but He added even the qualification, بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, at the end of that phrase. So the idea here is Allah is actually encouraging men to acknowledge that women have been given certain honors, and because of it, they must go out of their way to take care of women. They must actually acknowledge the blessings Allah has given them, the merits that Allah has given them, and in acknowledgement of that, now you've been put not in a position of advantage, but rather in a position of responsibility. This is a burden on you. This is something you'll be asked about. This is actually in line with ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. On that day you'll be asked about the favor, the blessings you enjoyed. And that is one of them. But then He adds a second qualification. Another basis for which you must maintain and take care of your women is وَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. Also, this is actually commonly not understood. Our Mufassirun exhausted themselves over this. وَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. The ba, they say لِلْإِبْتِدَاء. One argument is لِلْإِبْتِدَاء. What does that suggest? It means because the starting point of their relationship with their women is that they spend from their monies. Your relationship with your spouse isn't, well, I pay the bills, I pay the rent, I'm paying the car insurance, I'm paying the cell phone, I'm paying for your shopping, so I don't have to do anything else. As if to say the starting point of it. Look, because on account of the fact that you're already spending from your monies, which is the original gesture, by the way, even that relationship of marriage began with mahr, it began with infaqul amwal. But that wasn't the end of the relationship, that was the beginning of the relationship. It actually ceremonially symbolized something. It symbolized that you're willing to spend even of hard-earned income on this person. And therefore, now that and by the way, when you spend something on someone or on something, then naturally you take care of it. And so actually on account of that, Allah Azza wa Jalla says you and I must as men take care of women. وَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ.